fly fishing outfitter, guide, fly shop owner in Northwest Montana, and I'm your MC for today. And you may have been here in this very rotunda 8 years ago when we raised our voices against legislation that would have disposed of more than 3 million acres of public lands in 10 western states. And back then, our passionate message hit its mark in Washington, as you remember. And back then, I stood at this very podium and said this: if little girls are not allowed to get the dirt of public lands under their fingernails, then we risk losing those wild Montana women who make history. And you guys, I remember there were some little girls at the rally back then. I remember looking out and seeing them on their parents' shoulders, holding signs. They are here again today, and now they have indeed become the wild Montana women, here not only to make history, but raise hell. Together today, we not only lift our voices, we throw our bodies in front of the land and water that connect us because we feel the pain of disconnection. In the last week, thousands of federal land management jobs have been slashed, jobs held by our family members, that's right. Whose jobs are they? They are the jobs held by our family members, our friends, our neighbors, and jobs held by many of you right here in this room right now. To all of you who have served on public lands, thank you for all that you have done for connected ecosystems. Thank you for all that you have done for habitat, research, safety, rescue, wildlife, wildfire mitigation, climate action, campgrounds, campground bathrooms, come on, trails, native plants, education. Did you do it for the paycheck? Hell no, that's right, no. You did it for us. You did it for us, you did it for each other. Thank you. And you know, there are other voices out there, greedy, sneaky voices, saying that we should not have access to these lands, that wealthy private landowners should take them over instead. That is the sound that I hear in the middle of the night when I feel like I am in a nightmare, in a horror film, in an alternate reality, or in the upside down, where I just have to keep repeating the facts to myself in order to stay sane. And here are the facts. The fact is, public lands support our nation's $1 trillion outdoor recreation economy. The fact is, defunding public lands is a backdoor attempt to set them up for sale and privatization. The fact is, the cuts to the federal public land workforce likely will not impact the nation's federal deficit. And the fact is, current proposed legislation again threatens your freedom to hunt, fish, hike, camp, and float. Senate Bill 307 would strip more than $20 million from Habitat Montana and more than $12 million from Montana state parks, public trails, and non-game wildlife habitat conservation. Draft Bill LC 2912 supports Utah's lawsuit challenging the existence of public lands across the country. And the fact of the matter is, you guys, this is personal. Very personal. That's why you're here. My daughter Ella just graduated from the University of Montana Western in Dillon. Yeah, I know. I see you. And she got a degree in environmental sustainability after a killer internship with the Bob Marshall Wilderness Foundation. I know you're here. In the Great Bear Wilderness, in the upper middle fork of the Flathead River at Schaefer Meadows, where I also am lucky enough to put in for my multi-day whitewater wilderness trips as a guide. Full circle for me as a mom. And as you know, Schaefer Meadows was gutted. That's really tough to see. And it's really tough because after her recent graduation, she was very psyched to start her job as a range scientist with the BLM, a job that was over before it began. Now, I'm happy to report that she is running bingo night at the bar in Dillon. And there's nothing wrong with being a bartender and running bingo at the bar in Dillon, but instead of running high-level science work with amazing people on a team that she was looking forward to being with, that's what we're looking at right now, and that was not on my bingo card. As a mom, you're always proud of your kids, but when you see them start to stand up for something that not only they believe in, you believe in, but that has value to all of us as a community and as Montanans, because it is not partisan, it is a Montana value, and it is at risk, that is pain, and that is the disconnect. So that's why we're here today, to stay connected, to be connected with what we know. And right now in this room, that is each other. So because we have work to do, I am going to introduce a stellar roster of speakers who inspire us to be connected because they lead by example. Right. First, I'm excited to bring up my best pal and yours, Ryan Callahan, celebrated hunter and conservationist. Cal is Meat Eaters Director of Conservation and host of the popular podcast, Cal's Week in Review. Cal has been a passionate member of the outdoor community throughout his life, having grown up hunting and fishing, guiding. I was lucky enough to get to guide with him back in the day on the Flathead, and playing in the West, of course. He is a current board chair of Montana, of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Everybody, let's welcome our friend Cal. Come on up, Cal.
This is already the best audience I will ever be in front of. How many people in this room have heard that what we're talking about today is about management? And how many people have heard that our federally managed lands shouldn't be worked by people thousands of miles away in DC? You heard that? Yeah. Anybody think Uncle Elon knows what a dibble bar is? Or a hoedown? You think those manicured hands can run a crosscut saw? Do you think we're going to fix our situation by doing the exact opposite of what we should be doing, having intelligent, awesome managers on the ground that are part of our communities? Or blanket getting rid of everybody? That's what we're facing right now. And all I got to tell you is I've heard a lot of doom and gloom from the conservation community and from workers that have been affected. I got to take the positive side of things though right here and say, I would be scared shitless if I was a lawmaker right now. Because of this. This room right here, people who are willing to show up, they're the people who are willing to hold our lawmakers accountable. That's what's going to win the day right now. Accountability matters. So right now, we have a Montana taxpayer-funded study to sell off our state lands. Okay? Nobody told me I was voting for that. Right now, there's a bill in this House that would make it more efficient to sell off our state lands. And I don't want you to get in the weeds. State lands are different than federally managed lands. Federally managed lands are managed on behalf of all the people. Our state lands are managed for the state, right? It's literally a private versus public conversation. So when folks come up and say, well, the state could do it better. It's like, well, you know what? The state's got profit in mind. On the public side of the fence, it's managed for everybody. So I would say, well, I would hope to God the state could manage state lands better because it's a way smaller piece of the pie. There's fewer constituents, and all they have to do at the end of the day is provide value. On the public side of the fence, it's about all of us. It's about clean water reserves, healthy timber. It's about preserving adventure, places to challenge yourself, not just for this generation, not for the short-term gains that people are talking about right now, but for the future. I'm going to keep this short and just tell you that your voice does matter. The people in this state that are lawmakers, I got to tell you, it's easy to villainize people, and I love some of the signs, they're very funny and great, but when you go advocate for this stuff, it's always better to lead with how incredibly proud and passionate and how valuable these public places are. We have a lot of common ground in this state in regards to the ability to get below the high water mark and fish, float, hunt. My grandpa, his last trap line was on the BLM chunk behind the state capitol back here, right? We are people who are tied to the ground, and Montana is on the auction block. And if you're a longtime Montana person, you feel like your freedoms can kind of get whittled down. Well, pretty soon, what we're gonna have left are these big chunks of federally managed land. And if we don't stand up right now to protect them, they could be gone. But again, if I was on the other side of this argument, that I will tell you right now is the wrong side of history, I would be scared to death. Because all of you people are gonna hold these people accountable. You need to be calling your congressman. We're happy to be in a very fortunate situation where we have a Navy SEAL, Ryan Zinke. SEALs are heroes. How much of a hero would that guy be if he stood up and he said, not 1 acre, not one more seasonal job. We're going from 0 to hero. So that's how I suggest you use your voice. Get in there, make your face seen, make your voice heard, be passionate, and remind these people there's a lot more at stake than political games playing in Washington, okay? This is about Montana, it's our future, it's our children's future. Let's get out there, make our voices loud. Thank you so much for showing up.
Great Falls native Russ Anus is a longtime advocate for Montana's public trails at the state and federal levels. He's board chairman of the Montana Trails Coalition and the American Motorcyclists Association and president of the Montana Trail Vehicle Riders Association and the Great Falls Trail Bike Riders Association. Russ also served as the executive director of the National Off-Highway Vehicle Conservation Council for nearly 20 years and has managed Willow Ranch near Cascade since 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce you to Russ Anus.
Hey, thanks everybody. The first thing I want to do is give a shout out to all of you federal land managers in the audience, particularly those of you who were victims of the cuts. And I want to say that we keep hearing that our agencies need the best and the brightest. They need the best and the brightest. And you are the best and the brightest, so we need to get you back. You're our future, along with all of us in this room, of keeping our public lands public. So I want to just start off and tell you that, hey, I grew up in Montana. I'm one of the lucky ones. I was born here. I'm the son of a wheat farmer, and my mom was a highwayman's daughter up in Lincoln, Montana. and they started a small motorcycle shop. When I was a kid, every weekend we loaded up the bikes, we went up to the mountains, we camped, we fished, we did everything. We hunted on the weekends, we hunted grouse, we hunted elk. We went to freeze out. I floated the Missouri River through the White Cliffs. I did all of that as a kid. And I'll tell you, as a kid, I took it for granted because I thought everybody got to do that. They don't. We're the lucky ones. And I'm going to tell you that everybody in this room has a story just like mine. And it doesn't matter if you started here in Montana, you stopped here and you stayed here. Montana has lots of public land and lots of trails, and that's what keeps us here. So I'm a fourth generation Montanan and user of public lands and trails, and my grandkids are going to be the sixth, and I hope it keeps going from there. Public lands, that's what defines all of us as people. So, we love our public lands, no question about it. But our public lands need our love right now, more than ever. Not just because of the stuff that's going on at the federal level, but there's some stuff right here in Montana that we need to be aware of, that's happening today, that's important. And I'm glad you're all here to hear about it because the timing couldn't be better. As you're aware, there's a lot of groups in this room that do lots of work with federal and state and county agencies on trails. Whether they're motorized, non-motorized, water trails, urban trails, we all work together to make sure that our trails are healthy. There are a number of groups like MTVRA, Backcountry Horsemen, Montana Snowmobile Association, Montana Wild, CDT, and dozens of other groups that make sure our public lands are open to everybody. So, we need to defend our state funding. Right now, there are 4 sources of trail funding in Montana. The Trail Stewardship Program, which was created by the Montana Trails Coalition. That's open to everybody. We've got a great snowmobile program, off-highway vehicle program, and we also have the recreational trails program. So, what's going on right now that you need to know about? Well, when I-190 passed, I don't know about you guys, but I read it. And the reason I supported it was because it had 4% for trails and money for habitat and money for all of the things that we cared about. And there are efforts, not only in budgets, to reduce those monies. There's a bill, House Bill 307, Senate Bill 307, that will be heard, I believe, next Thursday. Every single person in this room needs to call their legislators because what that House bill does, it removes every penny of that money that goes to your public land. So get on your phones, get on your computers, make the calls, place the emails, but you have to kill 307. And for all of you who are working hard to keep our public lands open, I can't tell you how much that I appreciate it, not just for myself, but for all the generations that are going to follow. So let's hear it for public lands and federal land managers.
Now it's my great honor to bring up another local fly fishing guide, instructor, and the founder and owner of Fly Fish Her Adventures right here in Helena. It's Shalon Hastings. Let's hear it for Shalon. Shalon takes pride in sharing her passion for fishing with beginner to intermediate anglers. Shalon relishes exploring new waters and the fish that they can hold. And when she's not on the river, she serves as board member of the Pat Barnes chapter of Trout Unlimited. Bringing up now Shalon Hastings.
Thank you. Like all of you, my love for public lands runs deep. Like you, I wouldn't be who I am today without them. And like all of you, I believe and I know that our public lands and waters are worth fighting for. I'm truly honored to be here with all of you today and to have the chance to stand up for the places that have shaped all of us. I've been lucky that Montana's lands and waters have been there for me since the very beginning. I was born in Lewistown and raised here in Helena, where my childhood was shaped by the open spaces that surround us here. My high school years were filled with mountain biking the trails around Helena, finding a sense of independence and confidence that would stay with me to this day. A huge shout out to the Helena National Forest and Helena's own Prickly Pear Land Trust. There's no substitute for that feeling. I truly believe that if I hadn't been lucky enough to grow up surrounded by public lands, my life would be very different. No doubt that's true for many of you here. Maybe luck is the wrong word. Having lands to explore, to enjoy, to learn from isn't lucky. It's the result of hard work of generations of people who understood the value of having these places nearby. Those who worked and worked and worked some more worked to protect them, to build the trails, the campgrounds, the state parks, the fishing access sites, and to stop them from being chopped up and sold off to the highest bidder. We are following in their footsteps, standing on their shoulders. It is our responsibility to carry on their legacy. Many of my dearest memories are intimately connected to public lands. I remember hunting for the perfect Christmas tree with my grandparents near their ranch outside of Grass Range. While their land didn't hold the perfect Christmas tree, in my grandfather's opinion, the Forest Service land next door did. I still remember the hot chocolate that was carried in my grandma's green Stanley thermos and the perfect Christmas tree that my grandfather felled. That feeling has led to pursue a career entirely intertwined with our public lands. Maybe it's done the same for you. Today, I'm a fly fishing guide and instructor. I love teaching others how to cast a fly and feel the tug of that fish on their line. But that's only part of it. It's also my responsibility to teach people how to respect and care for and to love our lands and waters. Every time I take a student or client onto the water, I see them experience the same joy and wonder I felt as a child getting out on the water with my father. Much to my mom's chagrin and the amusement, we still get lost talking about our new fly patterns to tie, new tactics we want to try next time we're on the water. Sorry, Mom. These conversations and the interactions deepen our connection to each other and to the land and our water. As an instructor, I watch women gain empowerment and confidence through learning a new skill. I get a front row seat as families bond over the shared experience of beginners together. I hear anglers, new and seasoned alike, express gratitude for the incredible access we have right at our fingertips. Montana's stream access law is the best in the country, ensuring that our waterways it ensures our waterways belong to everyone, not just those with wealth and privilege. Like our public lands, Montanans enjoy unparalleled access to our waterways because Those who came before us understood how important public access is. Our land and waters belong equally to every Montanan, every American. They bring us all together, uniting us across geography, politics, and generations. This is not just my story, it's the story of countless Montanans. I see it when my friends, family, fellow guide peers take their kids fishing, hunting, hiking, mountain biking, skiing, shed hunting, all of it. I see it in the fish tales people tell. I see it in the proud posts on social media during hunting season. Folks congratulating each other on an elk or antelope. People share their stories around campfires over beers, united in the deep appreciation Montanans have for the land that shapes us. Public lands are woven into our identity, and it's our responsibility to protect and invest in them so that future generations can experience the same joy and opportunities we have today. I'd be remiss not to mention the impact that public lands and waters have on our economy. I spent 15 years owning and operating 2 small businesses here in downtown Helena, and I've seen firsthand the economic benefits that public lands bring to our communities. I've witnessed visitors from all over come to Helena strictly for access to the public lands, regardless of their activity, whether it was mountain biking, fishing, hiking, etc. Even locals opt to stay here and enjoy the wealth of outdoor opportunities nearby, thus keeping their dollars within our local economy. These places bring people here and keep them here. They help us build new friendships and strengthen old bonds. They let us raise our families here and build our lives here. Montana's way of life is envied by those in states without easy access to public lands. Our children, our adults, our seniors are healthier, more active, and more content because they can step outside and connect with nature. We raise capable, confident kids who learn resilience and independence through outdoor experiences. If we lose our public lands, if we let special interests lock them up and sell them off, or slash investments until our beloved shared places are just shells of their former selves, we lose a fundamental part of what makes Montana, Montana. Protecting public lands is not just about preserving nature, it's about preserving who we are. Montanans are united by our love for public lands and waters, and we're serious about defending them. Look at this crowd! We're standing up to do just that because protecting public lands is a Montana value, and it's everyone's responsibility. From citizens across our state, and especially elected officials in Helena and Washington, D.C., to defend our public lands from those who would cut off our access or sell them to the highest bidder. Stand with us to protect our access, our wildlife, and our freedom to enjoy our way of life.
The grittiness of the kids who grow up in Montana. That grit public lands, and that grit is in this room right now, and we need to show them how gritty we can be. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to hear from Dr. Shane Doyle, a Montana historian, archaeological consultant, and public lands advocate from Crow Agency. Dr. Doyle's scholarship, yeah, shout out to Crow Agency. Dr. Doyle's scholarship on Montana's ancient intertribal spaces and culture sheds light on the region's true legacy. A place of strong spiritual medicine where the waters and the winds, as well as the mountains and the prairies, were shared and stewarded for the benefit of all. Dr. Doyle currently serves as the executive director of the Native nonprofit Yellowstone Peoples and on the board of numerous nonprofit organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Shane Doyle.
Cry up there? Holy cow. All right, good to see everybody. Hey, thanks for coming today. You know, it's cold out there. It's not the best traveling weather, but we care about our public lands. I'm not going to use any notes. I'm going to go straight oral tradition. But I wanted to offer up a song, thinking about Montana. If you look around the other places around Montana, nothing against Idaho or Wyoming or Canada or the Dakotas, they're good places, but they're not Montana, are they? And there's kind of some radicals in those places too, and we're kind of more middle of the road, I think, over here in Montana. I think. Because, when we get too far off the side, you might slide off, especially on a day like today. But thinking about just what Montana means to all of us in the public lands, it's a great feeling to know that here in Montana we have 7 reservations, and if you look around these other states, Idaho, maybe has 2, Wyoming has 1. If you look at the Dakotas, there's other reservations, but it's pretty much just 1 tribe, 1 or 2 tribes. Up in Canada, there's Indian land up there, but it's mostly just Blackfeet and Cree. But if you come down here to Montana, you see a wide variety of tribes, both north or west and east of the divide. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And again, as was mentioned, I'm an archaeologist. I'm also a member of the Crow Nation, but I can tell you, going back a long, long ways, the people who came here realized, they found out quick, it's a special place. It's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Going back, we have the oldest burial in the Western Hemisphere here in Montana, just over off the Yellowstone River. And, those people back then, they were hunting woolly mammoths. And we know that now. And Montana was a great place for that back in those days. And as time went by, as the climate changed, as the grasses changed and the bison came in, the people changed as well. And eventually, the folks who came here realized that this was the perfect place to live that Plains Indian way of life, because you had everything you needed. There was teepee poles, there was bison, and they were out onto the prairie, and they were up here in the mountains, and they were all over. So it made it a very special place to really thrive. And, going back all that time, this place was shared. It was a public space. And the music that I'm about to share with you came from that public space, from people sharing this music with each other, from sitting down in a circle with each other, sharing ground, sharing each other's voices, their dreams, their fears, their hopes. That's what Montana's all about. You follow up, you follow history, you go up into the 19th century, things started to get pretty kind of crazy and crowded here. Tribes getting pushed from the east, people, losing their way of life and coming here to the last best place to find that niche to find that way of survival that they could eke out a living here in Montana, hunting bison and all the other great resources we had. And when you follow right up on that, what came right on the heels was the gold rush. People come in here, they wanted gold, they wanted the silver, they wanted to take stuff out of the ground to make them wealthy. And we've seen it again and again. What we're seeing today is nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. What's new, though, is that they're not coming for gold anymore. They're bringing the gold with them. And they're taking something that's a hell of a lot more precious than silver or gold. They want our land. And we're not going to give it to them. Because it doesn't belong to us. And it doesn't belong to them. It belongs to everybody going many generations into the future and as far back as we can remember, and even further. One of the things that separates this piece of ground here from every other place in the continent is that this is the holy ground where a ceremonial way of life was the number one thing that people celebrated and shared with each other. That ceremonial way of life is what's going to get us through these dark days. And it's going to lead us to a brighter future because it's in our hearts, and it's in the hearts of our children, our grandchildren. And those are the kinds of things that you can never, ever get rid of. I want to sing a song. We like to do a lot of honorings here in Montana in this medicine wheel country, we like to call it. It's a sacred place. The public lands that we have are sacred spaces, shared. Thinking back on Plenty Coups, the famous Crow chief, when he died, he had a lot of options, what he was going to do with his land. And he said, I'm going to leave my land to the people of Montana. He left his house and his estate to the state of Montana, but he would have left it to the world if he could have. Because he was a man of the world. He was a man of all seasons. And that's what we are here in Montana. We're people of all seasons. And we understand, yes. All four seasons, light and dark, we're still here. We will not be removed. And we're going to keep our lands. And I'm going to honor everybody in here. And all those great people like the gentleman up here, Mr. Mike Mansfield, the statue, Jeanette Rankin, all the great women who have been invisible and haven't been heard, but have made Montana what it is, and the native people as well. Because this is the medicine that we needed today to share with each other. We're going to take this medicine, we're going to carry it back to our workplaces, we're going to double down our efforts to save our public lands and listen to all these great speakers here and take the advice that they offer, the bills that they say to support and to shoot down. And there might not be any elected officials in here, standing here, right here, but they can hear us. They can definitely hear us. They know we're here. For all of you, I hope. hey yo ho, hey ya hey ho, hey hi yo ho, hey hey.
I hope that you have something ringing in your ears when you leave here. The sound of the people standing next to you, the sound of that amazing drum, and let this sink in. Something that Dr. Doyle just said. It's not easy, but it is worth it. My friends, we're going to leave here today as united as ever by our love for public lands and waters, standing up to protect them, as we know is not partisan, it is a Montana value. Special interests have been trying over and over and over to set the stage for selling off and privatizing public land, but now it's more at risk because the stage has been set. The bad actors are on the stage, but we can't sit here and let this play out. We must give the fools the hook. We are clear, our public lands are not for sale. They are not private playgrounds. Let's get after it. Let's call our elected officials. Let's call them in Helena. Let's call them in Washington, D.C. Let's make it clear that our public lands are not for sale. They are not those private playgrounds. Together, we can defend Montanic lands and waters, protect access, keep public lands in public hands, as you know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's you, it's us. We're together. Hear that drum beat? Take it with you today. Thank you for coming. Have a great day.
Do you want me? Let's go. Do you want me to move that out of your way? Are you okay? Okay, we gotta flip around. We gotta get the other side. Yes. Let's
right here eating lunch. Turn this off.